So John, I'm actually curious to ask you, you have a ton of conversations, you've got a ton of customers, how does this topic of iOS 14, how often does that come up? What are you talking about with customers as it pertains to this issue of signal loss?
It's funny, iOS 14, started about 18 months ago. Still the hottest topic, and we keep hearing those three letters, iOS and 14, kind of ring through, and it is still that burning thing and then obviously attribution. So iOS 14, really the two things that were impacted, it's a total feedback loop. So the loss in attribution and data made it really hard to attribute where the performance was. And because the Facebook ad accounts could not pick up, actually who was purchasing, and there was a lot of guesswork being done by Facebook, especially early on, that really hurt the performance of ads, not just the attribution on what Facebook was telling us were the results, but when the algorithm is tricked, if you were actually converting certain users, but the pixel thought that person didn't convert, now the algorithm thinks, all right, this part of the audience doesn't work. We need to find other people that don't look like this person. So false negatives in a pixel or an algorithm could really destroy performance, because now, Facebook's strength was that machine learning, all of that data that it ingested, proper data that it ingested, was being used to optimize ads over time. And the beast would get stronger and stronger as more data was fed into it. Now, when attribution went out the window or became really volatile and kind of hard to trust, especially early on in iOS 14 days, that's where performance of ads was really impacted.
Right.
That's where revenue started dropping, marketing efficiency ratios started dropping. And so one of the things with attribution, there's all these third-party solutions. There's Triple L, there's Northbeam. There's many different forms of attribution. It's probabilistic and deterministic, and probabilistic could be the future without cookies and everything like that. But whatever solutions you are using, they're a third party, and that does not restore the feedback loop. That kind of tells you, this is what we think your attribution and your return on ad spend is. This is what Facebook tells you, and the truth might be somewhere in between. And it's great to have that second voice of reason, so you're not putting all your eggs in the Facebook basket and just living and dying by what they say. But the problem with the third-party attribution solutions is that it does not restore that feedback loop. It does not communicate back to Facebook, here's what actually happened, here's all the events that did take place. That is not happening. And so performance is still impacted on brands that don't have a solution and are only thinking about that third-party attribution solution. But how do you get that data restored? And how do we get that Facebook algorithm strong like it once was? And that's where we've been searching as an agency. Obviously, performance marketing, everything comes down to the attribution and performance, because you got to show your clients the results so that they are confident in investing in that channel. But then you also need the performance to be there as well. So it's twofold. And when we had these third-party attribution solutions, it wasn't improving performance, or nominally improving performance, that we still had an issue. And that's how we ended up finding Popsicle, restoring that data, the data break that existed post iOS 14, and really restoring performance. And it's still early on, but we're seeing some really favorable results, and it's becoming a best practice for all of our clients to adopt.